Herzlich willkommen zum UnleashPeople-Podcast, dem Podcast für alle, die HR und Talent Acquisition strategisch denken. Wir, Ina und Christian, liefern euch gemeinsam mit Expertinnen und Experten regelmäßig frische Insights, die euch und euer Unternehmen voranbringen. Heute sprechen wir mit Dilara Bukellal, Senior Talent Sourcerin und Podcasterin über Urban Myth zwischen TA und Tech. Hello everyone to a new episode of the Unleash People podcast. Today we have Dilara as guest, and Dilara is talent sourcer. She's an expert when it comes to bridging the gap between TA and engineering. She's a podcast host, and today we will also speak about her, let's call it special abilities, special skills, right? Because as already mentioned, Dilara, you are an expert when it comes to bridging the gap between TA and engineers, specifically the engineers we hope to hire, right? And out of your experience, what are the most common barriers you need to overcome when speaking with engineers?
Hi everyone, my name is Dilara. I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for Christian and Ina for inviting me to your podcast. Yeah, speaking about my experience in hiring, it's like talking different languages because from developer side, there are many myths about recruiters that say, for example, don't understand tech, they don't read CVs and cover letters. They are not advocates for candidates. And on the other side, we as recruiters could think also many myths. Some of them are true, but examples are that every tech professional is introvert. Disclaimer that it is not. Also that people in tech, they're really mathematical geniuses, and we should learn a lot from math and programming to understand them. And also that only one programming language is enough for writing the code. So many myths, but not all of them are truth.
Yeah, that's a lot, right? And when I was back then, when I was still hands-on recruiting as well, I faced the same things. So you just mentioned a lot of myth, right, and barriers. So I'm pretty sure some of them are real, and some of them are really like urban legends. Which is which? So which of those myths and barriers are actually true, and we really need to overcome them, and which of them are just a legend?
From my personal experience, and I told about that during the presentation on the Developer Summit, the main truth that I faced, it's a low response rate from developers and other tech professionals to recruiters' emails. And last year, only 1 out of 10 developers replied to my messages positively, while I had a response rate around 20%. This year, I started to work with more diverse positions, and my response rate grew a little bit until 27%, but it's not so great. And I can conclude that it's true. Our letters goes to nowhere, maybe to the black hole, and only half of them are read by people, but answered the second half. Yes, not so many. Also, these myths are true about introverts in tech. It's partly truth because in every sphere there are very different people, and among recruiters there could be both introverts and extroverts and people in the middle. And it's true also for tech people. Yeah, we're all very different. And to be honest, the rest of myths are really myths, these legends. And I should admit that.
That sounds cool.
What do you think about this topic?
So it seems like you already got a lot of learnings through your recruitment journey. And normally, when you learn things, you learn them by mistakes, making mistakes. So is there anything you can think of where you, had a great learning by messing something up?
By messing something up? Yeah, that's a great question. And on the stage, I was asked about my greatest success, but nobody asked me about the greatest failure. Yeah, to be honest, I did one. The great one in a negative way. I'm very conscious about communication with people, and I read messages very conscious and answer correctly. But I'm not so great with all Excel tables and statistics. And once I really messed up statistics about technical tasks, the number of them. And it was not just a little mistake, but the enormous one. And it was so embarrassing. I'm still I still want to hide under the table when I recall about that. Yeah, but it happened in my life, and now I double check every information that I have, that I post and report to be 100% sure about that. Yeah.
Yeah, this happens. And regarding the speaking about failures, welcome to Germany. We don't care about good things. We only focus on the bad things. So that's,
No, that's not true.
yeah, but a bit. There's also a small piece of truth in it. I want to circle back a bit because you also spoke about your response rates, right? And you also said that you have a quite low response rate when it comes to engineers, and it increased when you diversified your search, right? When you had other roles
Yeah.
as well. I need to step a few years back, right? Because when I was doing that, response rate were much higher. And I'm not speaking about 2 or 3 years, but more like 10 years, when recruiting or searching for engineers was much easier. And also LinkedIn and all other platforms were not super flooded with sources, or not as much as it is now. But still, we had to play around with different messages, different approaches, different ways, right? So, what are you doing? How do you make sure that you have the right tone in your message, that you have the right message for the right person? How do you play around with that, and how do you kind of also adapt throughout the years, so to say, or the different specialities in engineering to really have a 20% response rate? Because honestly, knowing the response rates from my previous teams in engineering, 20% is good.
Wow.
It's not bad, right? It could be better, right? But everything between, let's say, 25 and 30% is top-notch response rates. And like all the agencies are much lower. And when you do it in-house, you actually have a bit of a higher response rate. But back to my question. So how do you kind of, write your messages and adapt them to the needs?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for sharing this information. It's really, really valuable because I saw that this response rate is really low, but everyone else have higher numbers. Yeah, speaking about my letters, what I try to do with them, I really try to personalize every email for each candidate. So I go to their LinkedIn profiles and check their specialization, their interests, about section, work experience section, to understand their genuine interest, their needs, in which sphere in particular they want to continue working, and which spheres could be really great for them for their future, to work as a more, not a recruiter but career consultant for them. And also about personalization, I check companies and which sphere is for companies, what they do, which products. Also, when I go to different markets, I try to understand the cultural specifications of those countries, and try to find this the most effective way of communication with different people, because from we are very different countries, very different, and what works for Netherlands don't work for example, Japan or India, Czech Republic. So and I can recommend the book here about culture. I don't recall it now. It's really important for me, and I try to go even deeper to learn something about country, and to use it also for candidates, because I really believe that when recruiters and sources are very interested in that way, in understanding the tech people and the people from cultures itself, it's really important. And also from the beginning of my career, I tried to check every role in detail and understand every technology. I created this IT dictionary and I learned a lot. So many interviews with developers, with DevOps, QA engineers, and many other positions to understand in which sphere do they work and even live, and which thoughts they have, and what is really important for them. And so all this information I try to accumulate to reach them out, and to provide the best possible option, and to connect them at the end with their possibly dream job.
You just mentioned about the book and that you adapt your messages a little bit also to the country and the culture. Do you have like any, I don't know, funny, interesting fact about one or two countries that you would share with people?
Yes. I want to share here that I even did recently an AI agent which tries to accumulate the information about culture of each country I work with, and it helps me to write a very nice personalized message in terms of culture, in terms of greetings, letter endings, and the tone of voice. About different facts. I work closely with Czech Republic, and I know even some cartoon characters like Kurteček, if you know him. And no, it's a little Maulwurf, and and I try to even to reach some people there. I posted LinkedIn post recently with it, and I think that it helps. Also, usually I try to write some nice phrases in native languages, in Czech, in German, and try to have some local communication with people. And to check some influencers, to recall them in messages. So many things.
Yeah, the Maulwurf. Now I have a picture in my
Yeah.
mind. Thank you very much, Dilara. I
Do
will
you
not
have
think about it because it's one of
any?
the episodes that is not super made for children. Anyway, that being said, you, can you give us some, let's say, hands-on advice right now on that specific tone of voice, right? You mentioned Czech Republic, and
Mhm.
let's say, because you also mentioned Japan, what's the difference, like the real difference in your wording when it comes to reaching out to an engineer in Japan in comparison to reaching out to a engineer in the Czech Republic? Can you give us some real hands-on advice where those messages look different?
Yes, sure. I worked only with one role in Japan for a short period of time, but I did some messages and used the local greetings. So it's better to reach people by their surname and son. It's really polite for them, and to write a very, very polite message. It could be longer than average, but it's completely okay for this country, and people tend to react more positively on those. So I really include all the details about the company, about the sphere, in a very, very polite communication. And also, I used some local greetings words. Of course, I don't speak Japanese language. Yeah, maybe not yet. I don't know how this life turns. Yeah, but it was really nice, and people reacted good. And I noticed that people in Japan they tend to prefer those communication when, for example, they answer, and after that, the recruiter sourcer may make an interview. I mean that schedule interview by hand and communicate more. While in some other cultures, you can just send the Calendly link or other scheduling tools link directly, and people will choose their slots directly. Yeah, that's about Japan. And the response rate in Japan is lower than in Europe, should I say also. About Czech Republic, it's like... to be honest, I'm used to work with this market, and I don't see many insights now, because it's really like everyday work for me. But when I write something in local language, people also react positively on that, and it really helps. About scheduling, it depends on the position, because developers could be a little bit more closed, and it's better to make all by hands to communicate more with them. But as I see from my experience with QA engineers position or designers, even they can just choose Calendly slots, without any additional support. So all hiring also depends on the position and the sphere. I can tell about Portugal as well, if you want.
Yes.
So it's another markets, and the response rate there is the highest that I faced. Anytime it's about 40% or even more, and candidates were very, very lively, and I had many communication even via emails, in messages. And people preferred to chat more because they really love communicating with recruiters. Yeah. And so, as my colleagues, recruiters said me, even HR screens could last a little bit longer with candidates from the South countries. So, yeah.
That brings up a thought, right? Do you think or believe that communication with candidates, or in that case specifically engineers, and conversion rates would be higher if you always use the local language? Right now with AI, we can translate much easier than before. So do you think that if you reached out to people in Czech Republic in Czech, the Germans in German, whatever, Portuguese, Spanish, Japanese, that this would increase acceptance rate and also response rate?
I think yes, but we should remember the main communication language and to provide it clearly that, for example, positions I work with, they're English speaking, and I cannot communicate, make all communication in local languages. So I make only letter beginnings and endings with local language. But I believe that if there is a possibility to communicate in local language and the whole letter could be in it, it could increase the response rate, the acceptance rate. And to be honest, I wanted to tell about one interesting fact. I've never told about that anywhere. But I think that all people tend to somehow decrease their abilities of speaking foreign languages, of knowing some technologies. And tech professionals also tend to decrease the level of it. Even they speak more fluently, they tell that they could only read documentation, but not communicate a lot. But here I would encourage everyone to believe in yourself and to make a try, because every attempt worth it.
Yeah, that's a very good transition to my next question. That is like we planned it, but we did not. So if you really could, let's say, coach engineering candidates before the interview process starts, what would you wish that every candidate knew about us recruiters before the first conversation?
Okay, that's a great question. I believe that it's great to know that recruiters and sourcers are the biggest advocates of each candidate, and we really want to give chances to help, to assist you on every stage of recruitment, and give this chance to find your dream position, dream job. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds nice, and I think a lot of people do not really consider that. We now had multiple questions or answers where we talked about you talked about the difference not only between cultures but also between engineers and then designers and so on. And I think we all know that engineering, is it in the recruiting space or also in the HR business partnering space, is a little bit like particular. I like it.
Me too.
But yeah, and that would be my next question. So what is it that brings you to the engineering sphere? What's the cool thing for you in there? What do you like?
I can tell here about my career path. It will not be long. I started in game dev sphere with an internship. It lasted only 1 month, and I worked that time with many positions, every imaginable, to be honest, from tech, even with UI UX designers and developers and QA engineers and even support. Yeah, it was my first overview of tech. And then I moved to my current company and started to work with software developers firstly. And for many years, only then came DevOps. And only this late spring, I started to work with QA engineers with different positions. So my major is, software developers. It just came as a chance, and I was really excited to do that. I like this sphere, and I know that I should and could learn more about every programming language, about people who, for many reasons, decided to choose a particular language, and they are very different as well. I see even many differences between people who choose back end or front end or full stack or cloud technologies. So I'm happy to be here and so now to work with different positions because I learn a lot and meet great people.
Yeah, you're completely right. Working with engineers is special. Let's phrase it like that. That there are always exceptions, right? But out of my experience, they're always very friendly. They are super authentic. You actually get what you see. There is no hidden agenda, and that makes it also easy to work with, right? Because it's a plain process. You have plain conversations in terms of it's all honest, and that's a nice thing to have when it comes to recruiting, at least out of my experience. We are already nearing the end of this podcast today. Dilara, I have a final question, and again, I want to provide, or we want to provide, hand-on tips for our listeners, right? So what are your tips to create eye-level exchange between recruiting and engineering?
Yes, thanks a lot for this question. I think that we as recruiters can do it in many ways. For example, if we have blog, we could tell more about hiring, about interview process, share some tips for great CVs and advices on interviews, share information about hiring teams, because it is all about making hiring more human, and I really believe in that. It's really important during the hiring process. It's all about helping people to stay informated, also to give timely feedback, to help on every stage, to advocate for candidates with hiring managers. And I believe in human recruitment, and I want to make the sphere more open and transparent, to be honest, and that values I try to show through my LinkedIn blog and the podcast as well. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much for joining us, Dilara. And I think that was very insightful, and we also learned a lot how we can overcome the bridge between TA and engineering. So again, thank you very much, and I wish everyone a great rest of the day. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Das war's für heute. Vielen Dank, dass ihr bis zum Ende dabei geblieben seid, und bis zum nächsten Mal.